Hello everyone, my name is TS Page, and today I want to cover the one game that may truly compete with Realm of the Mad God once and for all. So if you guys have been keeping up with the Realm streaming community, or you guys frequently watch the Realm streaming community, you will have probably seen a lot of the players playing Trials of Titan instead of Realm of the Mad God. And at first I was a little suspicious, because obviously it's a new game and it looks a lot like Realm. But after giving it a spin myself, I decided it was worth making a video on and really taking a deeper dive into. So the first thing I'd like to go over when it comes to this game is the most frequently asked question for all of the streamers who play the game. And that is it a P server, and if it is, then why won't it just get taken down like all of the other ones? Well, the most easy answer to that question is that it is not a P server. It is a completely new game, built up its own foundation from scratch. And if you guys played Darza's Dominion a while back, whenever Darza's Dominion was big on the phone, then you will actually know the developer of this game, because the person who developed this game also developed Darza's Dominion, and it's just a single guy doing a passion project, and he's extremely open to community feedback, and he has been super interactive, playing his own game, and being an awesome guy overall. If you do find yourself interested in trying out this game and playing it for yourself, this game will be coming to open beta here in the next couple of weeks, and I will link the Discord, which you will have access to the game through, down below. Now that I've got that all discussed and covered, let's talk about some of the actual gameplay and what makes this game different from Realm. So, the first main thing you'll see is that I start out at level 4. Once you level up your character, you will begin with 5 stats. You have speed, attack, defense, vigor, and health. Most of you guys already are familiar with all of these stats, and for all of the Realm players here, which will probably be the vast majority of you guys, vigor is the same thing as vitality. And here's the really cool thing about vigor in this game. It's not just like vitality. As you level it up, it does really feel like you can feel the difference between, vigor level 15 and level 25. You can feel the big difference in health regen from those differing levels, and it's not where you just have to necessarily always back out whenever you're low in health. Sometimes it's still viable to stay in. But rather than leveling up stats once every time you increase your level, or it's a random number generator, what happens is as you kill enemies, there's a little blue bar that you can see right above my health, and this is essence. As you gain more essence from killing enemies, you can choose what stat to put your points into. So if you're a character that is really squishy and you want to be able to survive off the bat, take some of those essence points, immediately invest them into defense. Or if you just want a balanced character and level it up as quickly as possible, balance it out. Put 1 into speed, 1 into attack, 1 into def, and repeat that until you get yourself all the way up until the max level, which is 200. And now you may be thinking, whoa, level 200 sounds really high. And if you're talking in Realm terms, yes, level 200 is really high, but leveling in this game, as I said, is a lot different. As you use essence to upgrade your stats, every time you upgrade a stat is a level. So once you use 3 essence, for example, from level 1 to level 2 for defense, then you will gain 1 level. And as you gain essence and use it to upgrade your defense from level 30 to level 31, that's a level as well. So leveling in this game is a lot less linear because you get to choose what you want to upgrade and how you want your character to be leveled. And once you hit level 200, you're essentially basically the equivalent of a 6/8 character in Realm. You're completely good to run whatever you want, and you're a viable character. Everything in the game is achievable and attainable at level 200 and levels slightly below that as well. Another thing this game has that Realm has been lacking up until very recently is a very, very nice soundtrack. For every different zone that you're in, whether it be moving from beach to desert or forest to Iceland or anything like that, the soundtrack always seems to fit perfectly with wherever you are. And so even if you're leveling on your own and you aren't listening to any music, the soundtrack of the game fits really well and you feel completely immersed. I have sat there for 20 minutes just shooting enemies, not even realizing it, and just let the time burn away, enjoying every second of it. And that's something I can't say for a lot of games I've played, and I can't feel that way anymore for Realm. It just feels like it's a tedious task to get leveled, and it's really not enjoyable. In this game though, the time just seems to melt away and it's enjoyable. it really is an enjoyable experience to level. Now, when you do die on a level 200 and you have to rebuild, it is kind of annoying, but you have to understand though, it's not like you're getting to level 200 and that's equal to getting a level 20. No. When you get level 200 in this game, you're basically doing the same thing as getting a 6/8 character in Realm, meaning once you rebuild, you're back to a really solid spot. So the last couple things I want to do before I just give my opinion on the game is go over the loot system and the post level 200 system, or the post game system. So the loot in this game goes very linearly, and I don't really think that's a bad thing, because as you get to new areas, you get new loot. It makes sense, and it's kind of the same way as Realm, but a little bit more scaled up to be more enjoyable. You don't have to go into high tier dungeons to get very serviceable loot. As you get higher and higher through the realm, or you get from a harder zone to a harder zone, you're going to consistently get drops with the tiers that work for that zone. For example, in the desert that I'm in right now, I get tier 4 loot, and tier 4 loot is actually very serviceable. So tier 4 loot is something that you can get and you can viably take to you until late game. But here's the cool thing, that's not going to happen, because as you get further and further into the realm, as you level your character, you're going to get the next tier of loot for your character. Tier 5 will be super easy to get whenever you move up to the ocean biome, and once you get past that, you're going to be consistently getting tier 6s. It's not super hard to get progressed, but it's also not easy to where it's trivial or just a joke to get those items that are worth trying to grind for. Obviously as well, there's going to be dungeons in the game that are really late game and have UT items or white bag type items, which they don't drop in white bags in this game, but for the sake of comparing to Realm, essentially white bags. So you have those top tier best items in the game, which are, needless to say, extremely good and extremely valuable, but you also get those high tier items, or as I like to call them, tops. Just like Realm, you got tops. The loot system isn't too different from Realm, but it is structured in a way that is much more player friendly and a lot more enjoyable to grind from a new player experience. Now transitioning from new player to late game experience, let's talk about the late game. So, the final boss of the game currently is Mana. That is his name, not M-A-N-N-A like the mana pot. Did I say mana? M-A-N-A. It is not mana like the mana pot, M-A-N-A. It is M-A-N-N-A-H, mana. And he is a titan. And you have to kill 4 titans throughout the realm in order to spawn him in the realm. Once you defeat him in the realm, he will then spawn the portal to his dungeon. Now, I'm not really sure exactly how that's supposed to work. You kill him to spawn the portal to his dungeon, but it could make sense if you kill him to half health or whatever, and then he flees to go into his dungeon to prepare for a final fight. I don't know what the lore is. I haven't talked to Juix, the guy who created the game, that much about it, but either way, you kill him in the realm once, and then you kill him again once you go through the portal. Now, from these titans that I said throughout the realm, or the dungeons that these titans drop, they can give you scrolls, and these scrolls allow you to, quote-unquote, ascend. When you ascend, you increase your levels beyond level 200. To do this, you need to defeat Mana, which in itself is a hard enough fight because it is pretty bullet hellish. And once Mana dies, he will then spawn this altar in the middle of the room where you can then turn in those spells, spend 1,000 essence, and then you can ascend. Now, as you reach levels higher than 201, 203, 204, you're going to have to spend more and more essence per ascension. But overall, it's pretty balanced, and if you grind a character a bunch, you'll have plenty of essence to go around for ascending. Now, taking these scrolls with you is a risk, because if you die at mana, well, you've lost the scrolls, and these scrolls are pretty valuable and will likely become a currency in the future of the game. But we'll have to see how that plays out. So, now that I've covered a lot of the core mechanics of the game and stuff that I really wanted to talk about as it related to the mechanics of the game, let's talk about my personal opinions and what I think the future scope and scale for the game could be. Now, I like to think of it like this. I don't want to consider it, as I may have suggested in the title, a realm killer, quote unquote, because as we saw with private servers, even the best private servers can only make a dent in the actual realm player base. So, for example, Nilly's Realm, or for example, Revenge of the Fallen, both of which did really well, but as is per usual with private servers, they either die off or they get taken down. And in the case of this private server, well, as I said earlier, it's not a private server. It's its own game. You could think of it as kind of like TF2 and Counter-Strike. They're both first-person shooters, but they're completely different games. Maybe the similarities are a little bit more in line with each other, but you get the point. And that's where I think this game really differs from a P server. It is going to compete alongside it. There's nothing DECA can do because it's a completely original game, and it's very different. While Nilly's Realm and Revenge of the Fallen were definitely both different, they still had the same base core mechanics with some very, very unique twists, needless to say. But this game is completely fresh. It's new and it brings a different experience. And that's why I think it has a genuine chance to compete with Realm, but I don't think it'll ever completely be the Realm killer. And with all of that said, my recommendation, give it a try. I really think that the vast majority of players will enjoy it. There's a lot of different mechanics and it's very unique. There's a lot of it I didn't cover and I want you guys to discover some of it for yourself. Open beta is going to be coming soon and I hope to see you there. I personally will be playing, most of content will be playing, as well as a lot of other big names in P servers. So, with that said, that's all I got for you today. My name's TS Page, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.